There's a safety instruction card in your sleeping car compartment or in the seat back in front of you. Please take a moment to read that card. It will tell you about the emergency equipment on board the train as well as the emergency exits. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for the restrooms, they are located downstairs in your coach car or sleeping car accommodations. Where you boarded the train, the lower level there has the restrooms. When walking about the train, your shoes must be worn at all times. That is for your safety. Once again, all your shoes must be worn when walking about the train. There's no smoking on board Amtrak trains. No smoking anywhere, anytime. That includes upstairs, downstairs, restrooms, anywhere you can think of is non-smoking. Anybody found to be smoking on board the train will be removed from the train at the next stop. No excuses. Also, ladies and gentlemen, alcohol. You're not allowed to consume your personal alcohol on board the train unless you're in your private sleeping car accommodations. If you brought alcohol on board the train, it must remain stowed away in your luggage for your entire trip. They do sell alcohol for purchase in the lounge car and the dining car. You must have the proper identification. We do monitor alcohol consumption very closely. This is a family train, language included. If you are going to drink and you have the appropriate ID, we do ask that you drink responsibly. Once again, we do monitor the alcohol consumption very closely. And folks, before we arrive in the station stops, we will make an announcement. Please listen to those announcements so you can get off the train at your stop. Another note about detraining. You cannot detrain from any food service car. That includes the lounge car, dining car, and the parlor car. They do not open at any of our station stops. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Final destination. Now, get back together your personal belongings and make your way to the center of the car. Now
Make sure you get the blue ones, not the white ones. White ones are poisonous. It's important to know. But these were their source of stone fields, and you'll see these camas, not the camas here because it's not the right season. They're a spring plant. But you'll see all of these clumps. These are the Mima mounds. We're pretty sure the gravel that is in here came from somewhere else. We're pretty sure that this came from northern Idaho and southern British Columbia. So we don't know. This is what we're going on. I suspect that this that tan pond over there is a gravel pit. For some reason it fills up with water and they still pull out the gravel in spite of the water.
Centralia. This will be a brief stop. If this is not your final destination, please remain on board and upstairs. Centralia passengers only.
Now, the family came here from the East Coast. They brought with them a son whom they'd adopted. His name was George. His name was George Washington, actually. Now, George Washington was the son of a black enslaved man and a white woman. And his mother knew that he would not be treated well out east and convinced this family moving out here to adopt their son and bring him with them, which they did. They got here in the 1850s. He grew up to be a very smart young man and tried his hand at logging and farming and a number of things. He then heard that the railroad was going to be coming through in the early 1870s. He bought up the land and platted out a town. He wanted to call it Centerville, but the downside was that, again, there was another Centerville, so he changed the name to Centralia. This town now has a plethora of antique stores, and it's a wonderful day trip down from Seattle. This station that we're coming to is a classic one. Many of them along here were built in 1912. This one was last renovated about 1980. This one is now run by volunteers. And actually the southern end, the second section we'll go past here, has a meeting room in it. So people from Portland can come up and people from Seattle can come down and spend the day in meetings and then go back home on the commuter trains that go through here, or the regional trains. It really is a lovely station. Yep. That we are not going to see Mount St. Helens today because of the cloud cover. But if we were going to see it, I want to prime you so that you can look in case it's there. We get a very short view of it. There's another town in about 5 miles. We'll go by a town named Chehalis. And Interstate 5, we go underneath the Interstate 5 bridge and we look down the freeway and there's Mount St. Helens in all its glory on a clear day. This may not be a clear enough day, but it's going to be at about a little bit ahead of us when we go underneath.
That's beautiful.
Now here's another 1912 station.
Where's Bigfoot when you need him?
Chehalis, Washington. Chehalis.
I saw the arcade on the other car. It's from 1970. Release some of the machines.
Sometimes I can get a glimpse of it right here, but I'm not seeing it, so I don't think we're going to have any luck today. Nope.
What you were looking at right
Hold
now,
on, everybody.
Mount St. Helens.
The mountain would be right where those steam vents are coming up. Sorry.
Mount St. Helens is not visible behind the steam there. That's where it would be if we could see it. Okay.
Today we have a 20-hour train, or tomorrow or Wednesday or whenever that is, a 13-hour train on I think the exact same train.
Yep.
It stops in Richmond?
Yep.
Okay. Same exact seats?
Don't know.
Well, I don't know, we're probably a couple miles from it still. But you can see how different the territory is here than it was a little farther north. It's quite flat here. But again, getting from one place to another was always a challenge. Ultimately, the railroad train came through here, and a lot of little towns grew up along the railroad, including Winlock. Winlock was a purveyor of eggs and baby chicks. From about the teens through the 1950s, they sold millions and millions and millions of eggs and baby chicks all around the United States, shipped out of here by rail. In fact, one of my friends was an engineer on this route, and it always drove him nuts because he'd have to stop and they had to be very careful loading all these eggs and chicks. And it would take quite a long time. And it messed up their schedule. At any rate, the railroad came through, like I said, in 1874. Ultimately, it took them another almost 50 years to get an automobile road. Certainly in the 1870s there weren't any automobiles, but ultimately the automobile became the most important method of transportation. The two state capitals of Oregon and Washington were finally joined by an automobile road called Pacific Highway. There's still pieces of it around. We'll go alongside parts of it here and there. But to celebrate the opening of this auto road, they had a parade. Now, if your town sells baby chicks and eggs all over the place, what are you going to do to celebrate your town? You're going to build a giant egg and put it on a float and carry this egg all the way from Salem to Olympia as part of this parade. What are you going to do when you're done with the parade? When you're done with the parade, you put the egg on a post in the center of town. That has been there ever since 1923, and they still celebrate Egg Days. Okay, these warehouses are the north edge of town, and the world's largest egg will be coming up on the right very, very shortly.
Technically, it isn't the world's largest egg because it wasn't laid.
This is, well, you never know. Maybe it was laid. Anyway, the egg will be coming up on your right after this hardware store. A couple of little white buildings right next to the tracks. Okay, I can see it now.
I see it.
There it is. How can you miss that? It's the highlight of your trip, right? The world's largest egg. Now on the left, down here in a couple of minutes, maybe half a minute, you're going to see a red house that looks a whole lot like a train station. Do not be deceived. This is somebody's residence. Left-hand side. In just a moment, it looks, his wife agreed that when they retired they would live near a railroad track, and he would build his dream house. Here it is, the red house on the left.
Winlock. Cool.
Oh, he's even home. I should have called him. He
Cool.
comes out and waves sometimes.
it like her first week or something? Oops, that's the diamond card. Sorry.
You're going to join us. Last call to join us for wine tasting in the corner car for our first class passengers. Also, folks, just a reminder at yeah, exactly.
Would you mind just watching my seat for a minute?
Okay.
Thank you.
We do start a waiting list. We do have a certain time where we do cut off service, so we do not want you to miss out on breakfast. If everybody waits till the last minute, we will have a long waiting list and you may miss out on breakfast if you're at the bottom of that list. So once again, we do have plenty of open tables at this time for breakfast. Please make your way down. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now arriving in Oakland, Jacqueline Square. passengers detraining here at Oakland, be sure you check the above and around your seats and have all of your personal belongings. Make sure you have everything before detraining. We thank you for riding Amtrak today, and please watch your step while detraining. And ladies and gentlemen, once we've arrived here at Oakland, we'll be stopped here for about 10 minutes. Santa Clara Valley is approximately 45 miles long, and it varies in width up to 18 miles. Santa Clara Valley is also known as the Silicon Valley for all of the high-tech computer-related industry in the San Jose area. But at one time, Santa Clara Valley produced the most fruit of any region in the world. Up until the early 1960s, Santa Clara Valley produced the most fruit of any region in the world, with 37 canneries in full operation. There was a lot of canned fruit.
Making your lunch reservations at this time, just so you know, before we get into Los Angeles, the dining car has to be stripped down, so we will be doing our dinner very early tonight, between 4:30 and around 6:30. So, in order for you to plan your lunch.
Okay, awesome. Great, very good.
You know, when I lived in Whittier, GPX. Excuse me. Okay. No problem. Yeah, it's first time.
Off to the left side of our train, you'll see that we have entered the world-famous Southern Pacific Horseshoe Curve. This is a 320-degree curve. It bends to the left where the front of the train can see the back, and vice versa. Horseshoe Curve was engineered by the Southern Pacific Railroad to reduce the angle of ascent of the San Luis Mountains to a manageable percentage for steel wheels on steel rails. And if you take a look off to the right-hand side of our train, you'll see a large facility with guard towers, tall fences, and razor wire. That's the California Men's Colony in San Luis Obispo, and that's another name for a men's prison.
which base is this now?
Vandenberg.
Vandenberg.
The airport.
He'd be big enough. You have to have some prisons on there to be able to do anything. I don't think you can have them completely automated. Especially when we've had problems with the other rigs like petroleum.
Well, if they're paying the breakfast, right.
Boy, there are a lot of problem rigs out there, aren't there?
Beautiful scenery.
Very good. They make them go to the lines or something. Oh, yeah. There should be something about Amtrak being a private market.